When I was 17, I worked part-time at a small family-owned grocery store in my town. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave me some spending money while I finished high school. I worked mostly evenings, bagging groceries and stocking shelves until close. Most of the customers were regulars, and I got to know a lot of them by face. But there was one man who stood out to me from the very beginning. He was in his 40s, always wore the same dirty baseball cap, and he had this way of staring too long. Not in a passing glance, but like he was studying me. Every time he came in, he would find a reason to linger in the checkout line if I was bagging. Sometimes he'd strike up small talk, asking what school I went to or what time I got off work. I'd answer politely, but I kept my responses short. Something about him put me on edge. One night, as I was leaving after a late shift, I noticed a beat-up gray sedan idling in the corner of the parking lot. I didn't think much of it until I walked past and saw the man in the driver's seat, the same man with the baseball cap. He didn't wave or roll down the window. He just sat there, watching me as I got into my car. That became a pattern. Almost every time I worked late, his car would be there. Sometimes closer to the entrance, sometimes across the lot, but always with him inside, staring. I told my manager, but she brushed it off and said maybe he just liked shopping at night. My parents told me to be careful, to walk quickly to my car, and to call them if I ever felt unsafe. I tried to convince myself it was nothing, but deep down I knew it wasn't normal. Then the phone calls started. It was always late at night, usually around midnight. The phone would ring, I'd pick up, and there would just be silence. At first I thought it was prank calls, maybe friends messing around, but then one night I heard it. Breathing. Slow, heavy breathing. I froze. My parents were asleep down the hall, so I whispered into the receiver, "Who is this?" The breathing stopped, and then the line went dead. It kept happening. Some nights it would just be silence. Other nights, faint whispers I couldn't make out. Once, right before the line cut, I heard a low voice say, "Asterisk, I like your red jacket, asterisk." My stomach dropped because earlier that day I had worn my red jacket to school. I told my parents and they called the phone company, but all they could do at the time was change our number. We did, but the call started again within a week. That's when we realized he must have been watching the house. The worst night of all happened just a few weeks later. It was a Friday, and I worked until closing. By the time I finished sweeping the aisles and taking out the trash, it was almost 11 p.m. I walked out to the parking lot, clutching my keys, scanning for that gray sedan. At first, I didn't see it, and I felt a small wave of relief. But when I reached my car and unlocked the door, I heard something behind me. Footsteps. I spun around, and there he was. The man in the baseball cap, walking quickly toward me across the lot. His face was set in this expression I'll never forget, like determination mixed with anger. I panicked, jumped into my car, and slammed the locks down just as he reached the driver's side. He grabbed the handle and yanked hard, but the door held. Then he leaned down, pressing his face against the glass, staring at me with wide, unblinking eyes. I fumbled with my keys, started the engine, and threw the car into reverse. He banged his fist on the window so hard I thought it might shatter. I sped out of the lot without looking back, my hands shaking so badly I could barely steer. When I got home, I told my parents everything. We called the police, who finally took it seriously after I described the man and his car. They said they would patrol the area, but without catching him in the act, there wasn't much they could do. For a while, I didn't see him. No more phone calls, no gray sedan in the lot. I thought maybe he had finally moved on. Then about a month later, I woke up to my dog barking at the front door around 2 a.m. My dad went to check, and when he opened the door, he found something sitting on the porch. It was my red jacket, the same one I wore the day he had commented on it, folded neatly like a gift. We called the police immediately, but by the time they arrived, he was long gone. They searched the area, but they never found him. Not long after that, my parents decided we needed to move. We packed up and left the town I had lived in my whole life. To this day, we don't know how he got my jacket. I don't know if he took it from my car or worse, from inside our house. I never saw him again, but the memory of his face pressed against my car window still makes my skin crawl. And even now, years later, if the phone rings late at night and no one answers, I can feel my heart start to race. because somewhere out there, I know that man is still alive, and I can't shake the feeling that he might still remember me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy true stories. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.